What's up, guys? Chef Bad Bass back at it again. Guys, we have something super exciting for you guys today. We are going to be stuffing a pork loin, and we are going to go ahead and take this to the Spanish style. We got a full pork loin, approximately 8 pounds, and we're going to butterfly that open. We are going to stuff that with a Chipotle, we're going to stuff that with chorizo, Mexican chorizo stuffing, and then finishing that with a Chipotle cream. So you guys stay tuned. We are going to demonstrate how to butterfly a pork loin, how to create the roulade, and then I'm going to show you how to make the stuffing and then how to make the Chipotle cream. So you guys stay tuned because we got some amazing stuff coming. See you in the kitchen. All right, so what we have here is a full pork loin, and I am going to demonstrate for you guys on how to butterfly the pork loin in order to achieve a flat surface in order to make a roulade, or also known as a roll, which we're going to be doing the pork loin. You can use any type of meat, but we can do beef tenderloin, pork tenderloin, and this is just a pork loin. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start by making an incision here up top along the fat cap, keeping my hand out of the way, of course. Starting about a 1/4 inch from that fat cap, you're going to work your way in to right about there. And then you're going to lift it up and just go back through, keeping your knife level so you can see where you're going. Try to keep it as thin as possible. And then, really important, as you get right back here to the thinner piece, as it starts to thin out back here, you don't want to go all the way through. You want to make sure that you leave it so it can just open up just like that, if you can see that. So we're going to travel back through to that back side. I'm placing my fingers in the back here, so as a stop, just lightly dragging the knife along the meat. And what is amazing about pork, a lot like chicken, well, I guess a lot like a lot of proteins, it's a really blank canvas. And we're just kind of traveling down through the meat. And once we achieve this, I'm going to flip it around, coming back down through the meat. So we got it just like that. And we're just going to travel along that backside of that fat cap, pulling it down. Hopefully you guys can see that there. And just kind of like pulling on it. And then once the fat cap, as you can see here, the fat cap what we have is approximately about a 1/4 inch thick. All the way, it's even. And that's the important piece, it's even, right? Now we have the rest of the pork loin here. We're just gonna do the exact same thing in the opposite direction. Now we're just going to merely travel along, keeping the knife flat, making it about, taking the tip of your knife in about 1 inch into the meat, pulling it back. As you guys can see here, maintaining that approximate 1/2 to 1/4 inch thickness. Let's see it from this side. Keeping the knife is flat is super important to maintain consistency of the thickness throughout the loin, because we want to make sure that this loin not only rolls evenly, but the most important piece about this is that it's going to cook evenly. So it's also important that we start with the fat cap side, because when we roll the loin, as we get into it, you guys are going to see that the fat cap is going to want to be back on top there. You guys can see that you can see how the loin is just continuously getting smaller and smaller, just like a blanket. We're just going to roll this right up as we continue on down. Now we're approaching the end here, so this is where the loin thickness is going to vary, because you have your chuck in. Your chuck in is on this side. I'm trying to get that for you guys. Chuck in is on this side, and then so that's the fattier side, and then it's going to taper on down throughout the meat. So I made a little cut there. I made a little hole by accident because I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the camera. But that's not a big deal because that's on the inside of the pork loin, which is going to be rolled up inside as well. But as I was talking about as the fat side, this side, and just continuing on that back side as we got here, rolling that all the way out. All right, so now we have the pork all butterflied out, and then we're going to get ready to get pounded. We're going to pound it, and I'm actually going to introduce you to a tool called a jacquard, and then we're going to get into that here in a moment. All right, guys, so what we have here is our tool that I was talking about earlier, the jacquard, and then we have our pork loin all butterflied out, and then you could do this with a mallet as well, but the thing about the jacquard is amazing is that it has these blades, right? So as we're going through, it really tenderizes that, and you just switch up the directions that you're going all over it. Get it, boy, get it, boy, get it, boy. And just go to town, just like so, until it is all jacquarded. And then we're gonna just spread it all out. Make it nice and thin. As you can see, it makes a little tiny holes out there, but no worries. It just tenderizes it. When the protein cooks, it shrinks and the holes disappear. It doesn't affect your texture at all. It just makes it super, super tender as far as the texture goes. So technically, it does affect the texture, but just in the sense that it's tender. So we are going to get on to making the stuffing, and then we are going to make a chipotle cream. What up, guys? All right, we're going to get right down into it, in the nitty gritty. That's why I'm down and dirty with you. All right, we're gonna get an onion. We're gonna dice it. And teach you guys how to chop some garlic, cilantro. So let's get to it. First, we're gonna cut the end off, leaving the root end intact. Cut that directly in half. Taking off the exterior peel, leaving that root end on. Also, you want to get rid of this slippery membrane here. Ladies and gentlemen, the most dangerous knife is a dull knife, and this is not a dull knife. This is a Miyabi 11-inch chef knife. My absolute favorite knife ever. Alright, so starting, depending on the size of the dice that we're going to do, we're going to try to achieve about a 1/2 inch dice. So we're going to go in here approximately 1/4 inch up. Okay, placing the knife here, keeping the hand out of the way. Another 1/4 inch slice. You place your palm of your hand to the back of the knife and just rock it back and forth. That'll prevent you from slipping and allow you to achieve all the way back to that root. All right, make sure you guys can see this. Maybe a little closer. No, no, no. Okay. All right, so then we're gonna go in for the 1/2 inch here. Turning the onion, placing your hands like so, bending up your knuckles the flat side here. We are going to then just size out whatever size we want. We want that 1/2 inch, so go down and down, keeping your finger, your thumb, tucked out behind it. Feels weird at first, but you'll get used to it, and your fingers will thank you for keeping them. And then on that root system, if you just cut here and here, you can get one more cut, and then you're only left with the root system, and that goes in the garbage. All right, so there we have the onion, and actually what we're going to be doing is we're going to be utilizing the onion, cross-utilizing that for, we're going to do our Chipotle cream, and then we're also going to work on our stuffing, so that is going to go for that up here. So knocking out two things at once. Time management is crucial in the kitchen, ladies and gentlemen, as it is on the water. Preparation prevents piss poor performance, y'all. So with the garlic, we have the end here, that root end, and then we're just gonna knock that off. Just gonna show you guys with a couple cloves here. That way I'm not taking up too much of your guys' time. Try to rock that camera forward a little bit. All right, that's much better, much better. All right, so pressing down on the garlic to smash it, and then smash it, the back of your knife. And then we're just gonna run our knife over. Just like that. And we're just going to go for a rough chop. You can chop it as fine as you want, but we're just gonna go for a rough chop for both our sauce and our stuffing. So that is the garlic. All right, and then we have a dual purpose on our cilantro. So a lot of people just discard the cilantro stems as they deem it unedible. Guys, the cilantro stems possess so much flavor. So I nip those off right there, that dry part. And then, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use the stems for our stuffing and our leaves for our sauce. So how I do that, I just go ahead using the same method of the claw. We're going to grab that right here and then just make that cut. Keeping those, if you can notice how I'm keeping my fingertips curled back there, keeping the fingers out of the way, the knife is straight, keeping my elbow tucked into my rib cage, just like if you're casting, same deal, right? You want to always keep that elbow when you roll cast anyway. Roll casting, you always want to keep the elbow in, but and the same method applies. It keeps things straight. Okay, so there we have our stems, there we have our leaves. Set these to the side, rough chop on those stems. All right, y'all, so we're gonna go get started. I have my rondo, or a large saute pan that we have fired up on a high heat, as well as our saucepan. Here we have our ingredients. This is just some olive oil that I have set aside for cooking. We're gonna use about 2 tablespoons for our stuffing and about a tablespoon for our sauce. But here I have this is for our mise en place for our stuffing. We have here 2, and I'm dealing with 5 pounds of chorizo, which is going to fill all. We're going to do 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. Yeah, I got 3 fingers. 3 fingers equals 3 full pork loins. Okay, so what we're going to do, we got our 5 pounds of chorizo. Mexican, Spanish is traditionally a dried cured chorizo. And then we got 2 large onions, the stems of the cilantro, the 2 full tablespoons of garlic, and about 2.5 cups of the panko breadcrumbs, along with the white wine, which is 1 cup. So we're going to start out here with that 2 tablespoons approximately of the oil that we were talking about. We're just going to go ahead and dump in all of our ingredients. We're going to give this a quick saute. Then we're going to deglaze with that white wine. Spices. Oh, here we have the oregano, which is approximately, I got 2 tablespoons of oregano, 2 tablespoons of cumin, 3 tablespoons of blackening spice, whatever you prefer. I really enjoy the Pulperdome Black Magic. All right, so we got our spices glazed or toasted, sauteed and deglazed, and now we're just gonna break here for the Chipotle cream. We have here about a tablespoon of black pepper ground, which I'm gonna do a whole new video on black pepper and why you should not use store-bought ground black pepper. Oregano, tablespoon, and then 2 tablespoons of cumin. Again, this is for the Chipotle cream. And then we have our Chipotle with adobo sauce there, which is actually, we're only going to be using the adobo in this recipe. All right, so we got our tablespoon of oil here. And then we have our garlic, our cilantro, our onion, about 1 large onion. This is going to make approximately about a quart. And then I'm going to go ahead and start this off just with the onions and garlic. If I can get that in there. I'm doing this with my phone. Oh, this is a cool angle. Alright, so we're sauteing that. Gonna split this briefly. Add our spices here. Deglaze with 1 cup of white wine. Let that cook down slightly. We're going to take our Chipotle with adobo and we're just going to do about a tablespoon of adobo. You can make it as spicy as you like. You can add less, you can add more. It's all up to you. We have that there, and then we're going to add our heavy cream. 2 cups of heavy cream. And we're going to turn that on medium-low. Give that a stir. And then we'll get back to that, get back to the stuffing. All right, so we're back at the sauce, guys. And we're to a point where it's about to achieve a boil. So what I'm gonna do is, at this point, you're going to add your chicken bouillon cube. I'm using a paste. So 2 chicken bouillon cubes should be sufficient for this. And at this point, we are gonna add one of my favorite ingredients because it doesn't taste like anything and it has an amazing properties for so many different things, and that is xanthan gum. And guys, how hilarious is that? Chef Rubber inspiring the senses. Somebody who came up with that label has a funny sense of humor. I know you guys are all taking it there. So with that being said, we're gonna open this bad boy up, and for about our 3 cups of liquid here, we're gonna use half a teaspoon of xanthan, and then we're just going to stir that in. So what that does is that's going to help thicken it immediately. Once it's added, it starts to bloom, and then it gets thick as it continues to cook. So at this point, we are going to add our lime, and then I'm going to zest it over the sauce. I like to do it over the sauce because that way the essential oils from the lime or whatever citrus that you're putting into the sauce goes into the sauce instead of onto a plate or onto your cutting board and so on and so forth. So I'm going to turn this down slightly here, and we are going to add cilantro here. We're going to add that lime zest and the lime juice of 2 limes to our sauce. Just getting down to the white of the pith of the lime. You guys can see that sauce is starting to thicken up already. Alright, got our limes cut in half here. We're just going to take the pair of tongs, place the lime inside the tong, and squeeze. We have our cilantro leaves. Add that. Give this guy a stir. And then, at this point, give the sauce a taste. Adjust the heat if you want. Add more adobo. If you find your sauce is too spicy, add a little bit more cream. It should back that out. And then turn it off and you guys are ready to serve. Alright guys, so we're at a point where we have cooked down the chorizo, and then we are going to, a major ingredient that I forgot to talk about is our canned tomatoes. It's approximately 4 cups of the canned tomatoes, and then we're just going to add them here. Give this a stir. Almost looks like bolognese. That's another video. Add our panko breadcrumbs. And stir those in until well incorporated and have absorbed the majority of the juices. Just like so. Alright, boom. Now we're gonna allow that to rest. Approximately, turn off the heat, let it sit for approximately 20 minutes-ish until it's cool enough to handle, and then we're gonna begin the process with stuffing the pork loin and trussing that. So, okay guys, so we're getting ready to finish the stuffing on the pork. Here we have our stuffing, and an ingredient we didn't talk about. I'll have everything in the description down below, but we have a cup and a half of white cheddar, a cup and a half of Swiss grated, and then a cup and a half of the grated Parmesan. So we're gonna do here. Fat cap doing well. Fat cap is here, away from you. Place the stuffing in the center, just like so. We're gonna spread this out all over the pork loin. Just like so. Then we're gonna take our cheese. We're just gonna spread it all over. That pork. Alright, so now what we're going to do here, we're going to take our pork loin, alright, so here we have our seasoning blend for our pork loin, which is just some salt, pepper, some garlic, onion, a little bit of sugar. We're going to take that, we're going to make our first roll. And on that roll, it's just seasoning. And then we're going to roll it again. So this one, I actually have some holes in, which is okay, because it's all going to get rolled up together. Trying to keep it tight pulling it towards you. Continue rolling. Pick this bad dog up. Anything that's still on the cutting board, we're going to put back in there for you guys. And then it's all rolled up nice and tight. Now, in order to keep it that way, we got some butcher string, also known as trussing string. We're going to make this complete rollover, fat cap up on the loin itself. Now remember I said that there's going to be a fatter end, right? That's our chuck in right here. Hopefully you guys get a good view of this. First, you just slip the string underneath here and here, okay? And you're just going to make a simple knot, overhand knot. And then I'm going to tie that. Now, we have the string just like so. Anchored down at our position. You're going to pull that string straight. Lay it right along the flat of the back of that pork loin. Taking the string, point your finger in, next approximately 3 inches down. I'm going to take that bottom string. You see that? Try to keep your finger on it. Pull that string through. Taking the tag in, wrapping it back through that string, just like so. And you can kind of adjust it, like so. And then pull away from you, pull towards the opposite end. You guys see that right there? And then you're going to just continue that process down approximately 3 inches. And again, wrap and continue the seasoning. And then we are going to place this in an oven at 400 degrees for 1 hour, or until the internal temperature is 145 degrees. That's what we're striving for. We do not want dried pork. So 145, and then we'll pull it, let it rest. It'll climb to 155, and then we'll slice and serve with the Chipotle cream, and that'll be coming up here soon. All right, guys, so we have reached the end of the pork loin. So what I'm going to do, I have that last one, I just tighten it, finger underneath the string here, creating a loop underneath, pulling that string right back through, to create a knot. Get my knot through my knot, just like so. Now we're just gonna take and cut off the excess, and we're good to go. Then it's gonna go in the oven.